Hey babes, here is the problem for most queer women, femme entrepreneurs. You are spinning your wheels because most internet business advice hands you a system without ever teaching you the foundation that system needs to actually work. And here's the solution. You need to learn how to find the right niche, even if you hate niches, which I did, and you need to learn how to test that niche before you spend a single dollar or time and effort building an offer that maybe no one is actually interested in buying. It's just a good idea that you have. So that is what this video is about. I want to save you time, energy, and money that I wish someone would have helped me save. And I'm going to give you 3 things to walk away with. Why the advice that you've been given is missing a crucial foundation, how to find your niche, the specific people, specific problems, and why you are qualified to solve that, and then how to know if your niche is actually the right one, and then where to start testing it. This has been bothering me since I became a full-time entrepreneur in 2020. Everyone says you need to find a niche, and also no one teaches you how to find the right niche for you. Courses and coaches will tell you to pick a niche, but they won't tell you how to find the right niche for you. And that gap is why so many of us wonder what's wrong with us. Like, why isn't this working for us? And I want to tell you that nothing is wrong with you. You just have not been given the full map, the full foundation to actually make it work. And so today I'm going to start helping you build that map. And before we get into it, really quick, my name is Elizabeth Cunningham. I am a femme lesbian entrepreneur. I have built multiple small businesses, some successful and some not successful. And now I really love helping LGBTQIA+, queer, femme, women, folks, if you fall into one of those categories, one or multiple of those categories. I really love helping this crew of people build small businesses that are values aligned, that really serve you as the person, providing the service or the product, and also serve your communities, and that it really fulfills your heart and also has you thrive financially simultaneously. So if that is what you're here for, then subscribe so that you don't miss anything that I'm putting out. Okay, so let's get into the first point. Why the advice that you have been given around niching misses some crucial foundational points. Most online business advice falls into 2 camps. Someone selling you the system that worked for them, or generic business mindset advice. And this is not to devalue those things at all. It's more just to point out that they don't work for everyone and they miss things. So when someone teaches you their process, they do not teach you how to find your specific people and how to find their specific problem that your business is meant to solve. And they don't tell you or teach you how to test whether your solution actually works for these people before you go all in. There are entrepreneur horror stories about people who've built out entire offers, spent months, maybe even a whole year or more, building out courses, programs, offers, building out the back end, making everything beautiful and perfect. And then when they go to launch it, there's literally nothing. No one shows up, $0, because they missed this crucial point of knowing how to test whether or not it's going to work before you build it. So here are the 3 things that I want you to know about this. The reason some people succeed with a proven system is not that the system is magic, it's that they already had the right audience with the right problem, and the system just created a vehicle to make it scalable. But without that foundation, that system would not have worked. The second thing that I want you to know is that if you build something without testing it first, then you're going to get emotionally attached to it. If you build out an offer, a course, a backend, whatever it is, you spend months on designing something, like you are now emotionally invested and involved in that thing. And then when no one buys it, it is devastating. But if you tested it first, then it would have just been informative. And this happens to businesses of every size, from people making $60,000 a year to people making $60 million a year. So the third thing then is, if you have ever tried a system that didn't work for you, it's probably not a you problem. You're not doing it wrong. You don't need to work harder. There's not something else about this system that you need to just figure out or tweak. You were just handed a hammer without a nail. And so today, hopefully, I'm going to give you that nail. And also, by the way, if you want to go deeper, I do have a newsletter that you can sign up for that I do go deeper into all of this stuff with. So the link for that is in the description of this video. Okay, so point 2, how to find your niche. So what is a niche? A niche, or your niche, is a specific group of people with a specific problem that you are qualified to solve. That's it. And right now, your job is not to get it perfect. Right now, your job is to make your best guess. And then that is going to turn into the first hypothesis that you're going to test. And the number one thing that is going to help this process for you is to set your ego aside. Be willing to be wrong. When we create hypotheses and when we test those hypotheses, the main goal is to gather information, not to be right about whatever our original idea is. So I know that niching down feels really scary because it feels like you're limiting yourself. That's why I ran away from niching for so long. But I want you to think about this. There are 9 billion people on this planet, and you cannot help all of them. When you niche down, your people self-select because you're going to be talking about a specific group of people with a specific problem. So the likelihood that they are going to come to you is lifted. And the people who are not for you, who you're not qualified to help, because you are not qualified to help everyone. I'm sorry, my love. You are not qualified to help everyone. And not everyone wants to be helped by you. Sorry. Just a couple of hard truths there. And that's okay. Again, there's a lot of people on the planet. You can't help everyone. And so you want to be able to find your people, right? And when you niche down, the people who you don't want to work with also self-select out. And then that is going to save you a lot of energy because you're not going to have to sift through the wrong people. They're going to self-select. And it's also going to make your business build faster. Niching down is the best way to grow your business fast. And it's also going to feel a lot more joyful for you as well, even if picking a niche is challenging at first. So your niche statement has 3 different parts. It's who the people are, what the problem is, and why you are the one to solve that problem. Example from a business that I still have, actually, relationship coaching business, is I help people who are queer or non-monogamous who want to build multiple relationships with integrity. It is a clear group with a clear problem, and I am qualified to do that. I'm a trained coach. I have degrees and certifications and years and years and years of training and real professional experience underneath my belt. Also, I identify as queer and polyamorous as well. Specificity is what creates instant recognition. Another example is femmes who want a skincare routine using only LGBTQIA owned brands. That is a niche. People who want inclusive skincare is not necessarily a niche because that's a lot of people on the internet, right? Like people who want a skincare routine. And then inclusive brand, like what do you mean by inclusive brand? Inclusive for who, for what? So when someone reads your niche statement, they should be able to say, that is me and that is my problem, or that's the solution that I want, right? So your niche can either be like the specific problem that they're having or the specific problem paired with the solution, right? So I help X people do Y with Z. So then when you put it all together, like with the example, I help femme folks who want to only use LGBTQIA owned brands find the brands that are perfect for them. Perfect. If you fall into that category and you want that thing, then you know immediately that you are in the right place. Okay, so finally, point number 3, how to know if your niche is the right one. When you create your niche statement, it now becomes a hypothesis, like I said, and you don't actually know if it's right yet. And that's not a problem, that's actually the point. So the next step is to find 30 people in that niche and start having real conversations with them. That's how you test it. So if you have little to no budget, then I suggest picking a niche where you can find 30 people relatively easily. So that might be through your existing social network, social media, Reddit, LinkedIn, community centers, meetup groups in your area. Knowing where your people are is part of knowing your niche and having a successful business. And if you can't find them, that's not a problem either. That's just data. So you can go back and refine your niche statement. And also, don't give up so easily. Really think about like, where could I find these people? And then go try and do that before you go back to the drawing board. And next week or next video, depending on when you're watching this, I'm going to talk to you about how to actually have those conversations in a way that actually gathers real data without people feeling like interrogated or like put on the spot or awkward. You want to build authentic relationships and gather useful information at the same time. And that is a skill. So don't worry if that feels intimidating right now, and I'm going to help you with that. If I've already made this video, I'm going to link it at the end, and so you can just click on the next video. But if I haven't made that video yet, if you're watching this early on, then you can also check out the book, The Mom Test by Rob Fitzpatrick, where he goes into how to have these conversations in detail. And then the last thing that I want to say about this, inside of, finding your niche and then like going out and having these conversations, is to go easy on yourself. This is an experiment, not a graded test. I'm not going to come into your life and like tell you that you're doing poorly. And I want you to, in your mind, be kind to yourself, especially if this is a new skill that you're learning. I've been a full-time entrepreneur for 6 years at the making of this video, and I am still testing and iterating and building my skills and getting better at these things too. Like I haven't like reached the pinnacle of knowledge, and no one has. So there's nothing to get right here. This is just a process. So guess, test, learn, refine. That's it. So before we go, 2 things. If you want to follow along week by week and go deeper on all of this, then you can join my newsletter. It goes out every week, so the link is in the description. And if you want to talk through your specific situation, your niche, your business idea, or where you're stuck, your first call with me is free. And the link to that is also below. So come talk to me. And I want to close with this. Building a business is relational work. It's not about the perfect funnel or the most optimized system. It's about learning how to be genuinely curious about people, showing up with integrity, and creating something that actually serves a community of people that you love. And I truly believe that queer, women, femme, LGBTQIA plus entrepreneurs are extremely well positioned to do this, because most of us have spent our entire lives learning how to read rooms, build chosen family, and move through the world with both resilience and heart. And that is not a liability in business. That is your superpower. Okay, babes, your assignment is to go write your niche hypothesis. Find where your people are, and I will see you next week when we talk about what to actually say when you start to have these conversations. All right. I love you, and we will see you soon.